Okay, next we're going to talk about Lenz's law. Now, Lenz's law starts to quantify a little bit. It doesn't truly quantify, but starts to quantify what we've been seeing so far about induced currents. So what I want to do is, first of all, state Lenz's law. Once I state it, then let me get my markers. Red one dropped. Quit laughing at me, Angel. So what I want to do is state Lenz's law. Once I state Lenz's law, then we're going to kind of look at it, and then the next section will be on Faraday's law, which kind of puts it all together. All right. So Lenz's law. Lenz's law basically says there's an induced current in a closed conducting loop if and only if, IFF, you might have seen that in your math class, but if and only if there's a changing the magnetic flux through the loop is changing. The magnetic flux through the loop is changing. That's the key. Now, the direction, and this is what gets a little squirrely for some people, and it's understandable. The direction of the induced current is such, let me say this just right, that the induced magnetic field opposes the change in flux. So the key here is not opposes the flux, it opposes the change in the flux. So you got to think of change, you're opposing the change. So if you think of somebody opposing the change, say if you're getting richer, people want you to be poorer. So they're going to try to take your money from you. Don't live above your station, right? Or whatever. Somebody, if you're sitting around all day because you're just not very motivated because of this stuff going on with the virus, you're just eating and watching, Netflix, right? Or whatever, or cartoon channel. And so you're getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And you want to, hopefully your parents or some of your girlfriend or your boyfriend going, I don't like that. They want to oppose that change in your weight because you're getting bigger and bigger and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man sort of thing. So that's what I mean by opposing the change. All right. So let's look at some examples. We know how to create an induced current. So let's go back. So again, how to induce a current. Let me show you one more time again. Hopefully, I don't know if you can see this much. Here this is. It's a little low. I don't have anything to sit it on. But what I will say here is, I know what I can do. Yes. There we go. No! This thing's set right. You can see that. We'll zoom in on it if you want. So, magnets. Coil of wire. 15,000 coils. You can see those coils right in there. You see that a little bit? It's wrapped in black tape and stuff just to keep them electrically isolated. So, how do I, whoops, yep. Make sure it's on. Woo, let me see. Does the battery give out on this thing? Ooh, it's on 10. I don't need it on 10. I'm so sorry. Let me see, make sure. Oh, it was on hold. Hold it actually. I thought the batteries went bad. So hold. Hold her. I'm sorry, that was wrong. It was Game of Thrones. Hold the door, of course. Now, This is changing. So if you will look. All right. So how do you make the induced current occur? One, you change the magnetic field going in, and you see it. You should see it. Hopefully you see it. Yeah. Let me put it on. I was on 200 scale. Gosh, help if I practice this ahead of time. But you know what I did? And I just got all excited here. All right, so there we go. Yeah, I see it changing. So if we change the magnetic field strength going into the coils, if we change the position of the coils, so that works as well, keeping the field the same, well, I could change the angle of the coil. And each time I'm doing that, I'm changing the flux. Okay, I'm changing the flux. That's the key. That's what Lenz's law is saying. Now, by changing the flux, there's a voltage across this. That means there's an induced current inside here. So let's think about it. If I am pushing this in, I'm getting more flux, more B field going inside there. So the flux is increasing. So how do I make what's the direction of the induced current? It would be around this way, because I want to have the B field, the induced B field, in the opposite direction. Why opposite direction? Well, if I push this in, it's increasing the B field. If I have a B field going this way, they'll add up and it'll be less total. It's trying to induce a current to keep the B field constant. As we talked about inertia, things want to stay as they are, and that's what's going on. Now, from a rotation aspect, it works the same way. Here it's decreasing, so it'll try to produce a field actually going into the coil of wire. So then it would make current in the opposite direction. And if it's increasing, like here, to there, then it'll actually do the opposite. Again, it'll try to make a field in the opposite direction, reducing the increase. So if I take it and move it this way, as I move it slowly out, I'm reducing the flux in the coil, right? So as I reduce the flux, it induces a current around this way with the B field pointing in, because it's saying, don't reduce it, I want to keep what I got. So I want to stay that way, I want to stay. And it induces it. But when I quit moving, there's no change. Now when there's no change, is there any induced current? No. All right. Now you got that, Jeremy. But let's see. That's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult. Let me draw some pictures on this. Hopefully this all helped a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use kind of the book drawings, a couple of them. If you follow along in the book, this is page 846. I'm using Lenz's law. So let's say I have a coil of wire like this. Here's a coil of wire. What I'm going to do, I'm going to say the B field is vertical. That's the B field. And if the B field's vertical, what direction would be, I'm going to say this B field is increasing. This vertical B field is increasing. What's the direction of the induced B field? Because really it's the B field that gets induced, that causes the induced current. Well, the induced B field is back the other way. This is the B field induced. It's going, no, it's trying to keep it constant. Because the sum of these together would be less than what it would if it just let it increase. Now, since this B field is there, as this changes, we got a B field going down that's getting bigger. So it's trying to get bigger. And that induces, remember, changing magnetic fields induce currents. So that's going to induce a current in this direction. This is the induced current. That's the induced current. Now, let's take this same thing, same idea here, and let's make this B field
going up. Let's make it decreasing.
It's decreasing.
Decreasing in strength of that B field. There's already a certain flux. It's trying to keep it the same. And since it tries to keep it the same, what does nature do? Nature basically says, all right, I got to induce a B field up. There's an induced B field that kind of shows up in that direction. It wants to keep it constant. Since it wants to keep it constant, this is induced. And so now, as it changes, it's going to induce a current there. So what's this going to do? Now it's going to make a current, an induced current, in the opposite direction in that loop. Okay? The opposite direction in the loop. Okay. And if you want to think about it, that's Lenz's law in a nutshell. Induced currents are created in such a way that the induced current is a result of an induced magnetic field opposing the change in flux. So magnetic fields change in flux is bad. If there's a change in flux, we've got to do something to try to stop that change. So we induce a B field is induced, and that creates an induced current. That's, it seems like, as best we can tell, with our current understanding, classical understanding of this, is how an induced current works.